Hello and welcome back to another ring making video. This time we are working with a black ceramic ring with this is 6mm with a 4mm channel. We're working with a turquoise true stone. It's got that nice black webbing through it and a carbon fiber. Stick around to see how we combine all of these materials for a very nice piece. Alright, first things up is the turquoise. We just need to shape this outside here a little bit to make sure that we have one very flat side that we're going to put into the ring. Just barely cutting off any material here. There we go. You can see now that I'm hitting all of it, indicating that I am now have this is a flat side, pretty flat side. I typically do that to any stock that I start with, just as it might not be straight when I put it into the lathe. And now we're starting by boring out the hole here. Make sure to go very slow, and I need only about 2mm of turquoise for this ring, and so I'm only going in about 2mm, as much as I need. And this true stone can sometimes be a little brittle, so I'm going really slow here. The video is sped up a little bit. Alright, we take the inside or the outside diameter of the black ceramic, 19.39, subtract what I've already cut here, 18.27 maybe. So it looks like we just need to go about 1mm more outward. That move right there, I think I wasn't going deep enough, so I just wanted to deepen the entire cut that we made. Alright, easy enough. Now we would typically take our cutoff blade and cut this piece off at exactly the right point. However, my stock that I have left is not quite long enough, so my cutoff blade is going to be hitting the jaws if I try to cut this off here on the lathe. So instead, easy enough, I'm just going to take it to the bandsaw and cut it here. It does add a little bit more work for me because I won't be able to get the perfect cut, so I'll have to do some sanding later on, and you'll see that here. Alright, close to the correct size cut. You can see since I didn't have the exact cut, I have some edging left over, and that's just because I didn't go deep enough on when I was boring it. So we're just going to sand this side until that edging is all the way off. Once we got that, now round out the edges, because the edging in the tungsten and ceramic ring blanks are not completely 90 degree when you go in. They're curved a little bit, and so if your tight is very fit or very tight, you can't push your material all the way up to the edge. So you need that round corner so that the material will push all the way up to the edge. Got our two little cuts here. That's where we'll break it. I just make those cuts on the bandsaw. It's an easy cut. They break right where I made those little cuts. Little dry fit, make sure we got a good fit and that it's all the way against the edge. And on to the glue. We're going to use a medium CA for this. I was going to do it in this core, however I wanted it to be a little bit more precise than that. So instead, this time I'm going to throw it onto the material. I don't do that very often. In this case, where I don't want to overly do it with the glue, it just made a little bit more sense for me. A little more nervous doing it this way because it could dry and reduce my working time on the ring. Actually, I'm using extra thick, it looks like here, which extends the drying time, so I have a little bit more time to work with it. Alright, this part's very important. I'm going to push inward and downward. Inward so that both the edges touch, and downward so that the material is all the way against the ceramic edge. I like to throw it on the side of a table like this, pushing inward and downward to make sure that I got that nice perfect fit. Double check it all around that I'm not missing anything. Throw it on my little glue dryer, and we'll let that sit. Now, to avoid breakouts of this material, and because it's so thin, I'm taking it to the sander here, and I'm just going to sand it down just right before the metal. I don't want to touch the sander with the ceramic because this belt sander can scratch the ceramic. Perfect. We need a 1/2 inch collet chuck, and then we're using our centering ring mandrel that we print with the carbon fiber infused nylon. And then just tighten that till the ring doesn't move anymore. And then from here, I'm going to take the turquoise down a little bit more, and also rounding it out more. I'm not going to finish the turquoise at this time. I'm leaving it slightly above the edge, because I want to finish it when we're finishing the finish that goes over the carbon fiber. Now, as you saw earlier, this is just a soft carbon fiber. It's unfinished, no resin, so it's soft, so you can pull these strands. So I take these strands out, as many as I need, so that it goes across the entire portion of where I'm placing it. 3 for this one, where it works perfectly. And then you can see I'm just going to place the carbon fibers right into this channel. You don't get the weave pattern of a normal carbon fiber, however, it still has a very unique, cool look to it once it's all finished, and you'll see. I'm adding a little bit of medium glue here and then spreading it out. This is just to get started so that the carbon fiber is attached to the ring. Those same strands, making sure it expands across the entire channel, and then let that part dry right there. Just hold it till it dries. I don't know what it is, but CA and carbon fiber cures very quickly. And now with this part, I once made this where I wrapped it all the way, sort of like a bentwood ring, and then added glue when I was done wrapping. The CA though couldn't penetrate all the strands very well, so I've now found that if I use this material, that every layer I need to add some CA. So you'll see I'm just going to wrap it a little bit, add some glue, wrap it a little bit, add some glue. This way we know that the glue is penetrating to all the levels of the carbon fiber. I'm not using any accelerator for this either. It is maybe at 2x, however the glue, like I said before, it's curing very quickly with the carbon fiber. I probably could cut this a little bit off, but I'm going to add it into the channel just to make sure I don't have any missing spots. Now I take the lathe, move it at about 100 RPM, 100 to 200, drop a few drops of the thin CA so that it can penetrate as deep as it can, and then add a little bit of a, basically seal, I'm trying to seal all the fibers now so that I can work with it. I'm going to go through and cut it down now, cutting this all the way down to the metal at this point. Perfect. Now I can't stop here because I have to add a protective finish over it, otherwise strands might leak up and as people wear it. And so now I need to take the carbon fiber below the metal edge. I'm leaving the turquoise up above it because the turquoise doesn't need a finish. Checking the depth here. I'm just cutting a little bit off. It's just slightly below the channel. Checking the depth with my fingernails, and then I'm going to rotate the ring a little bit as there is a little bit of what's the word? Runoff? I don't know if that's correct. And then I spin it and then cut a little bit just to make it more even. And then now we're adding the finish. So this is just a little bit of thin CA, followed by a little bit of accelerator. And the lathe looks like it's moving quickly, but it's about 100 to 150 RPM, so it's not too quick. I'm just doing this process until the finish is above the metal. Two or three drops at a time. I find the fewer drops that you work with, the easier it is. Alright, there's the tailstock with the lathe that I use to butt up to these stepped expanding mandrels. And because I'm always scared of over tightening ceramic, this one does move a little bit on me. And so I'm going to just tighten it just a teeny bit more, holding it while I tighten it. As soon as I feel any tension in the ceramic, I stop tightening. And we'll continue. At this point, I'm going to take everything down to the metal edge so that we have a nice flat top. And go for a 220 grit here. Makes quick work of the CA finish as well as the turquoise here. I'm going to go 320. If I have 400, I would go 400 instead of 320. From there I go to 800 right here. And if I do it two more, I believe this would be 1500 and then up to 2000. And that's as far as we go before the polish. I know a lot of people say you need to go super high, but with these materials they're super soft, so you don't need to go too high before you bring it to the polish wheel. Now once I was done, I noticed these little pinholes in my finish as well as some of the edge is not finished well. And so I'm actually going to take that back to the lathe, to the step before this, and cut out the finish. So I'm going to redo the finish and then bring it back and do everything again after I did that. Once that's finished, we bring it to the polish wheel here. We use Zam polish. You know, it is a wax-based polish, so we're using the heat of the cotton wheel as it rotates to melt the Zam onto the polish wheel, and then from the polish wheel to the ring. And after the polish, you bring it to a clean wheel, take off any wax remaining on your ring. Oh, and the ring just flew into the trash. Perfect. And here's the finished piece. We fixed all those pinholes in there. The finish looks great. The carbon fiber has a really awesome look to it next to the turquoise. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all on the next one. I cannot believe that the ring flew into here. Of all the spots for it to go. And this is not clean. Oh my gosh. Dealing with this with a mask on. Luckily, it is not too full, but this is so dumb. Anytime I lose a ring, it is on the polishing stage, and it just shoots off. Probably time to maybe polish on a mandrel, maybe? That would be smart. Throw it on a mandrel and then polish it. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Jeez, dude. I heard something. There we go. Oh. Perfect. And here's the finished piece. We fixed all those pinholes in there. The finish looks great. The carbon fiber has a really awesome look to it next to the turquoise. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all on the next one.